Welcome to the How to Stress Like a Genius podcast, a podcast all about social emotional learning for teachers, counselors, administrators, special service providers, and students.
I'm Nicole.
And I'm Paul. We'll be diving deep into the world of social emotional learning,
We will discuss topics like building strong relationships,
managing stress and anxiety,
developing self-awareness and self-management skills,
and promoting empathy and kindness.
Please join us as we work together to empower others and create a brighter future for all.
Welcome to How to Stress Like a Genius. Hi, and welcome back to How to Stress Like a Genius. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Paul.
Today's episode is all about gratitude. And before we begin, we want to point you to a link in the description below. It's from UC Berkeley's Greater Good Science Center, and it's an article titled The Science of Gratitude.
Yeah.
And we're also going to talk a little bit about Brene Brown's work, Atlas of the Heart.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And in this podcast, not only are we going to explore gratitude, but also that idea of self-awareness around different practices that we can do when it comes to gratitude. Brene Brown's Atlas of the Heart, I think, comes in book, but there's also a workbook to work through, and I also think HBO Max might have a series on that content in case you want to check it out after the podcast.
So in Atlas of the Heart, Dr. Brown explains the interplay of gratitude and joy and how it's described as this intriguing upward spiral where one predicts the other. So the gratitude predicts the joy, and the increase in joy leads to the increase in gratitude, and the increase in gratitude leads to further increase of joy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible to think about. When we pair that with the article we read from the Greater Good Science Center, and we think about some of the different gratitude interventions we can take for ourselves or we can work with our students, it's really a great opportunity.
It is. And that reminds me of an intervention that I used when leading a staff in a school community, which was to create proactive circles and circle up and actually name what we are grateful for. It really starts to evolve. It started to kind of trickle down into classrooms, and staff really took off with it. They started to do different awards for gratitude, and it just really helps the entire community feel different.
Choosing to show gratitude can show benefits in the workplace, namely higher productivity and an increase in pro-social behaviors, even if your workplace is a school.
Mm-hmm.
But it also cultivates other virtues like patience, humility, wisdom. And I've seen it proven time and time again. But when we start to talk about gratitude with students, it's infectious.
Yes, I agree. And that's where gratitude interventions really help us all to stress like a genius. They're definitely proactive ways to maintain regulation.
They're easy and most often non-threatening, so it's really low-hanging fruit for students and strangers.
Yeah, and I've definitely seen a really positive impact on multiple dimensions of wellness.
And they actively open other self-awareness channels.
Mm-hmm.
And their impact can usually be experienced really quickly.
Almost instantly sometimes.
But the article and Dr. Brown do point out that it has the best effect when it is done consistently.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So with that in mind, we're going to practice. We're going to take a mindful moment, and we're going to practice a gratitude intervention.
Mm-hmm. Great. This would be a really great habit to, again, start as a part of either watching the podcast or outside of the podcast. But today, our mindful moment is called 3 Good Things Intervention.
So in this, and let's back up a little bit. Martin Seligman in 2005 did a study, and they kind of amped up the Count Your Blessings gratitude intervention. and came up with the idea of let's talk about the cause of our gratitude. So the three good things, you think about three things you're grateful for, and you think about and write down the reason that you're grateful for that, or what exactly it is you're grateful for about.
It might be good for us to think aloud for a moment and just think of one good thing and possibly a cause for it, just to help everyone get started.
Okay, how about I am grateful for my increase in self care, and I think the cause of that is the new community we live in. Moving here was definitely a cause of that, but there's so many more opportunities for me to care for myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great example.
So go ahead and press pause, spend this few minutes on yourself, really, and we look forward to hearing about how gratitude interventions work in your classroom. Well, after that gratitude intervention, I know I feel more pro social. But before we leave, we want to thank you for joining us on today's podcast. And we want to remind you that this podcast aims to provide social emotional learning resources to all educational stakeholders. We'll start with resources and practices for ourselves because we too need to find ways to cope, manage, and regulate.
And thank you again for listening.
So until next time, please take care of yourselves and remember to stress like a genius.